We have been busy here at the Kennebunkport Historical Society this year. Our goal for our 70th anniversary was to widen our awareness, increase membership, offer educational programming for intergenerational audiences, deepen our understanding of the collection for which we are the stewards, and create realistic goals based on our resources. We wanted to provide programming that brought community members out of seclusion and back into the world, with the aim of serving our mission, broadening our reach, and strengthening our roots. Here is a month-by-month review of our year at the Society. Last September, we began our oral history interviews. Dana Pearson and Mark Gunter lit up our stage with their popular Elvis-themed concert. Last summer, we began a Tea and Tales series, and it continued in September with the celebration of Grandparents' Day and a grandparent tea. Grandchildren and their grandparents shared a delicious Victorian-inspired tea at White Columns while discussing their own family history. In October, we celebrated Kennebunkport's oldest citizen, Frank Hanlon, who turned 105. Former president and board member emeritus Peter Whalen gave a wonderful lecture about his life. We created a micro exhibit of Mr. Hanlon's artwork and praised his many accomplishments. Sarah Reagan Auer was publicly announced as the president of the Society, and under her leadership, our board has grown and flourished. Thanks to Larry and Mary Lou Ryan, who wrote the grant request, and to the Mooneyhan Family Foundation for granting the Society with monies that we are using to improve and increase our educational outreach. We are deeply honored. November programming at the Townhouse School included another midweek concert by Dana Pearson of original compositions. We welcomed local children's book author Jocelyn Lacey to read her children's books, and local author Catherine Mayfield to share her lecture about how to write your memoir. Our social media outreach collected Kennebunkport memories of Thanksgiving spent in the port. December marked the 40th anniversary of Prelude, and the Society was very busy last year. Opening night, as always, White Columns was lit up for our annual Prelude Gala to kick off the week. We hosted a Louis Norton micro exhibit at the Pasco Exhibit Center and offered a private tour of his murals on the walls of a private home on Main Street. We are so grateful to our neighbors Sarah and Tom Vanderschaff for their generous offer. We introduced a girls' night out, crafts, and arts night at the Townhouse School, and the focus was wreath making. We lit up a few fire pits and served hot toddies throughout the week at White Columns, and Mrs. Claus read to the children. We continued our oral history interviews, and our ongoing raffle concluded at the end of Prelude. January of 2022 marked an opportunity to plan and rebuild. Many volunteers spent hours and then weeks organizing 40 years of Christmas decorations and Bush family memorabilia at White Columns. This process helped our team to better understand the collection within the house. Our January board retreat focused on taking a step back from the pandemic, reorganizing priorities, and moving forward with new goals of expanding programming, outreach, education, care of collections, and community visibility. February officially marked the 70th anniversary of the Society. In February of 2022, the Society formed a new junior board. The junior board, ages 10 through 17, included students who love and care for Kennebunkport history, and they met for the first time via Zoom. Our midweek music continued with a Beatles tribute, and the quest for new volunteers and preseason docent training commenced. In March, Sharon Cummins' story about the Kennebunkport Freedom Farm went viral and reached a record 56,000 plus views. Midweek music concert was all about the blues with Dana Pearson, Mark Gunter, Ron Breton, and Andy Oliver. Spring organization, docent training, and repair work continued at the Knott House. April began with a Titanic-inspired Tea and Tales at the Townhouse School, hosted by Larry and Mary Lou Ryan. We initiated some hands-on learning at the Townhouse Corners campus with our building history program. Ann Thompson taught local students all about metal crafting, and she hosted a mosaic workshop for another girls' night out. Dana Pearson and Andy McLeod entertained us with Paul McCartney cover songs. Our cleaning efforts moved outside with our volunteer cleanup days, and the collections committee began steps towards organizing the archives. Efforts to clean up after some winter damage at the Knott House included repairing cracked ceilings and drying damp areas. Our team began to think about taking steps to modernize the Bush family exhibit after the one-room exhibit sustained a bit of damage. Larry Ryan offered a wonderful historic lecture about Edward Parker. In May, we continued our Tea and Tales series with Diane Lent portraying Lily Knott Perkins, and we shared details of her life before, during, and after Kennebunkport. Our oral history project expanded to include all ages, and we invited school children and Kennebunkport's senior citizens to share in a community conversation about the Great Fire of 1947. To honor our building history program, we collaborated with some students from the landing school who offered demonstrations of their programs in our barn. We welcomed 2 high school interns who helped us do some very heavy landscaping at the Townhouse Corners campus. In June, we were the proud recipients of the Virginia Hodgkin Summers Foundation grant. With their support, we are grateful to be able to continue to serve our mission here at the Society. We hosted the annual Chamber of Commerce After Hours at White Columns during the launch festivities. On Father's Day, father and son musicians John and Dylan Cumnick joined Dana Pearson and entertained us with Bob Dylan cover songs. Sharon Cummins was granted a private interview with grown brothers who, as children, lived at the Freedom Farm after World War II. We installed a Daniel Chick micro-exhibit at the Pasco Center. Daniel Chick lived in the early 1900s, and his artwork depicts historic Kennebunkport. The exhibit will show through September 2022. In July, Coastal Bike and Kayak sponsored a wonderful historic paddle on the river. On a sunny morning, we shared stories about life on the Kennebunk River over the years. Our junior board hosted an ice cream Sunday night at White Columns. Local artist Joyce Ficelli led our girls' night out craft night at the Townhouse School, where we learned watercolor techniques and had fun with friends. Board member Mike Bird led a volunteer day at the Benson Blacksmith Shop, and the team, including members of the Benson family, did some needed cleanup and repairs to the building. Dan Blakesley and Mike O'Hare played live music to a very enthusiastic audience at the Townhouse School. August was a busy month as we visited our friends at Wallingford Farms for a Tea and Tales featuring the history of Mr. Wallingford, who was an integral part of Maine becoming a state. We hosted a pool party at Stephen and Jocelyn Lacey's home for our valued volunteers. Dana Pearson and Andy McLeod played Beatles cover songs live at the schoolhouse, and our junior board planned a family fun craft day at White Columns where Ann Thompson hosted a thermotrope workshop. We were honored to host Mrs. Laura Bush for a private tour of White Columns. Looking ahead, we have many new things planned. Our Girls' Night Out continues with pencil drawing workshop featuring local artist Joyce Ficelli in September. Dana Pearson will team up again with Andy McLeod for 2 shows featuring music from the movies. We are also a stop on the Maine Craft Weekend Trail on October 1st and 2nd. Art educator Ann Thompson will be demonstrating metal crafts in the barn, and hopefully we will have a blacksmith to demonstrate in our blacksmith shop. In October, we are hosting a scarecrow contest with the theme of Kennebunkport history. We are seeking participants and look forward to seeing what our creative community will imagine. A fall fundraising event at the Townhouse School on Saturday evening, October 15th, called the Fall Fete, will feature live music with local musician Bo Dalio. We will be serving hors d'oeuvres and will host a raffle. Near the end of the month, Dana Pearson, Mark Gunter, and Ron Breton will revisit their very popular Elvis concert, and the month will end with spooky stories at our Halloween Tea and Tales. November will bring back our community oral history project. in which we will discuss memories of World War II. We are also hosting a very special program called Gifts We Can Barely Carry, Songs from JFK's Ireland Trip, featuring music, stories, and trivia, and hosted by talented musician and storyteller Kevin Farley. Tickets are available now for our annual Prelude Gala at White Columns. Stay tuned for more events that will happen throughout the 10-day Prelude at both White Columns and the Townhouse School. Big thanks to Kennebunk Savings for being our 70th anniversary gold sponsor. They are the primary sponsor for the ongoing Family Fun Days, the Fall Fete, and exclusive sponsors of the Kennebunkport Christmas Prelude Gala. We are so grateful for the many volunteers who serve the Society all year round, many of whom work behind the scenes. Our volunteers help us digitize in the archives, transcribe historic works, give tours, work in the gift shop, dig in the garden, paint and fix old buildings, hang photographs, trim trees, organize chaotic spaces, plan fundraising events, shop and cook for these events, offer creative ideas and gather raffle items, buy gift shop items, research in the archives, assist in seeking more sponsors, donors, and members. We are humbled and grateful for our growing team. Please join me in thanking our talented and remarkable staff members, Emma Stevens, Sharon Cummins, and Olivia Sweet, for tirelessly serving the Society with their talent, passion, and care. Last, I would like to ask the community to take a moment of silence to honor Board Member Emeritus Peter Whalen, who passed away last November. Peter was a friend to the Society for many years and left his mark of kindness and wisdom on our hearts and forever on the history of our Society.